So what is in my camera bag for 2024? So I want to start off by saying that all of the stuff that I carry in here, I don't carry these things like all of the time when I'm out. Like many times I just carry my camera, a pair of binoculars and a water bottle if I like just out in the local forest. So all of this stuff is like a combination of all of the things that I need to bring when I'm out on a like photography adventure for a whole day or for a couple of days doing mostly wildlife photography. Let's start off by taking a look at the actual backpack that I'm using. It's the Shimoda Action X50 version 2. I've been enjoying this backpack a whole lot because I think the size is the perfect size for like a day trip or a 2-day trip. You can fit like all of the things basically that I need, and I really love the roll top on this one. You can fit like extra clothing, a jacket, or basically everything you need. So thanks to the roll top, I think this is the best backpack I've used up to date. I'm really satisfied with it. It has a lot of pockets. It has like a front pocket that you can have like a tablet, and you can have... So I have a more in-depth review of this camera backpack right up here. So let's dig into it. I think we're gonna start off with the cameras, right? Yeah. The main camera I use is not in this backpack. It's actually right here. So this is the A7 IV, and if you follow this channel, you probably know that I've been using this camera since it came out, and I absolutely love it. It's served me many times since it came out, and I think it's just a very good hybrid camera that like does everything very well. It does photography. It has like 33 megapixels, which is to me a very good like balance between high megapixels and like the lower ones. And so I'm really satisfied with it. Like it could be a little bit faster in terms of continuous shooting. It only does like 6 FPS in like uncompressed RAW, but it does, I think it's 10 FPS in compressed RAW, and I shoot in compressed RAW like all of the time. So it would be nice to have it like faster, and that's why I've been thinking of getting something else. But yeah, I'm really satisfied with it. Yeah, I think it's a fantastic camera. And if you see right here, I have a foldable L bracket from SmallRig on, and this has been on the camera for at least a year, and I'm really happy with this, because if I want to use the camera like regularly on a tripod, I have like a Arca Swiss plate, as you can see right here. And if I want to use it in vertical mode, I just press the button right here and fold it up, and boom, I can mount it vertically. And as you can see here, they have a little like a door here, so you can open the battery door. Pretty neat. So that is my main camera, which I do mostly photography and filming wildlife with, if it's in like broad daylight. And we're gonna talk about the lens in a second. So for my daily shooting and adventures, I usually use 2 cameras for like capturing the wildlife with. And my secondary cam is the ZV E1. So I really like this camera. It has the same sensor as the Sony A7S III. So the low light performance of this thing is beyond great. I'm really satisfied with it. That's why I use this for mainly filming. I wouldn't say this camera is like very good at taking photos, because you have 12 megapixels, you can't really crop anything, and it's not really a photography camera. So yeah, this is my main film camera, and this is actually the one I use to film myself, like these shots right here, when I'm out like with the A7 IV taking photos and doing vlog stuff and so on. Because it has some really nice like AI features with like trackings, and the eye autofocus works phenomenally good. Yeah, I really like this camera, and I know some people have stumbled across some overheating issues with this camera. Nothing that has ever been a problem to me, because it's May right here and it's 5 degrees outside, so yeah, that's not really a problem for me. But otherwise, such a nice camera. And I have a review on basically all of these stuff in separate videos that I can recommend to check out if you're more interested. I'm not gonna go super in depth in. So why I use 2 cameras when I'm outside like shooting is because many times I want to focus on maybe taking photos, and I'm waiting for let's say a great gray owl sitting on a stick to make it smooth, and I want to grab some photos of it. But then it's really nice to be able to have a second cam pointed towards the owl and just press record in 4K 120p that this thing can shoot. You have photos and video from another angle in 4K 120. So it's just to get as much like footage as possible when I'm out, and it's been working out pretty good for me. And for the third camera, it's in this box, but it's not really for wildlife photography. It's the GoPro Hero 11. And this thing is what I've been filming all of my POV videos with. And to it, I have this case from Telesin, which like has all the batteries in it, and it can have some like SD cards, but I have another solution for that I'm gonna tell you later. And you basically charge the batteries. And I have the GoPro like endurance batteries working really well. I'm really happy with how this. And a question I've been getting a lot about my POV videos is, where do I have the camera and what do I film it with? So the answer is GoPro Hero 11, and I use this no-name chest strap basically. So I have it right here. Let's talk about the other lenses, shall we? So on the widest end, I have a 14mm 1.8 G master lens that I use for like vlogging in tight spaces, and sometimes I use it for like northern lights shooting and so on. Such a nice lens. I really like it, but it's a prime lens and it's super wide, so I don't see it like as a perfect like all-around lens for doing vlog stuff and so on. For the specific cases that it's needed for, fantastic. So what I've been shooting all of my videos with in terms of like vlogging is the ZV-E1 paired with the 20-70mm f4G lens, and this lens is it's great. I've heard many people are pretty mad that it's like only f4. Personally, to me, it's not really a problem because the ZV-E1 is fantastic in low light, and I can raise the ISO to above like 20,000 and it looks great. So having f4 as the widest aperture for that case is not a problem for me. So what I really like about this lens is that the 20mm is wide enough for like handheld vlogging, and I can see myself and I don't have to like reach super far. And then I can zoom into 70mm to get like the isolated shots with some blurry background. But this is not like a bokeh king or anything like that. And I think it's a very nice like vlogging lens, to be honest. At those times when it is very dark and I'm vlogging like at night, I usually go with the 20mm 1.8 G, which is a prime lens, and that's what I'm shooting this with right on here. Also a very nice lens, but it is a prime lens, so for like run and gun vlog shooting, I think this is a very nice lens. So for the times when it is a little bit darker, or I want some like tasty b-rolls with a like more bokeh and so on, I use the Tamron 28-75 G2 2.8 lens, and such a nice lens. I'm really happy with the image quality out of it. A very nice like run and gun lens for most stuff besides wildlife though. So let's talk about the lenses that I use the absolute most when I'm out shooting wildlife. I guess we're gonna start off with the obvious one, the Sony 200-600 G. OSS, or what it's called. It's great. This is a lens I've been kind of praising on my channel a whole lot, and that is not because I am sold to Sony. I bought this lens for my own money. I absolutely love this. It's just a fantastic lens. So it delivers like phenomenal sharpness, and I think it has some like really nice quality to the bokeh for being a zoom lens with like 6.3 aperture. The handling of it is just so good. You can zoom from 200 to 600 with a very short like travel distance, and I don't know, honestly, for a version 2 of this, I don't know what they could do to make it better. Obviously like size, to get it down in size could be something, but otherwise such a nice lens. I know some people might get mad at me for praising this thing, but I really enjoy it. I think it's a fantastic lens, but it's not that great in low light. So if I'm out at dusk and dawn, which I'm at pretty often, this lens isn't the best. So my secondary lens that I use almost as much as the 200-600 is this little small gadget, the 70-200 2.8 G Master Mark II. And this thing delivers amazing image quality, and the autofocus is so fast. And this thing fits like in the backpack without any issue. It's like a water bottle in size. And what I really enjoy with it is that it performs so good with the 2x teleconverter from Sony. So when you pair this up, you get 400mm f5.6, and I was really surprised to see that the sharpness is so good with this thing, because I've heard online, and like before this came out, I heard that like the sharpness and contrast decreases a lot when using this thing. So my hopes weren't that high. But when I tried it out, I was really surprised how sharp the photos actually turn out. The autofocus works good, but it's not as fast as it is like natively without the teleconverter. But so this is the perfect like walk around setup in my opinion. I have it paired with the A7 IV, and I can walk around with it looking for fox dens that I've done this past month. I've been just walking and walking and walking, and then I have this set up with me because it's 400 is enough for most situations. When like if there's a bird appearing, I can get some footage with it. Sure, 600 is obviously more reach, but yeah, I think the size is just very, very good. So after using this setup for, I think it's almost a year, I'm really satisfied with how the workflow works. Like when it's getting too dark, I just take this off and I have 70-200 2.8 for either photos or for video, and yeah, it's just a very nice workflow for me. But this thing is expensive. So if you're a follower of this channel, first cheers to you. You might know that I have a Sigma 500mm f4 sports lens, like a huge amazing lens, and I still have it, but it's broken on me. Sad tear. So there's something wrong with the autofocus on it, or not even the autofocus, I can't even manual focus. Nothing happens when I twist the manual focus ring. So I haven't been able to use that for the last month or two. So I'm gonna send it off for repair and hope that they find a solution. So enough about the camera stuff. So here I have a laptop, a MacBook Pro 16-inch. I don't remember the year model. I think it's 2020. I'm gonna put it in the text here. With the M1 Pro chip. Been working really good. I can edit in Final Cut Pro, where I edit all of my videos. I can play 4K 10-bit 120 files in real time without issues. So I'm really happy with how it performs. And while we're at it, I have this very nice little pouch that I have some Thunderbolt, like USB-C cables, and I have a Samsung T7 2TB SSD hard drive, and I use this as my like working hard drive. So I transfer the photos and videos from the camera onto this one, and I edit from this one thanks to the really fast cables. It works fantastic. And when I'm done with the files and everything, I transfer it to an other hard drive where I like store all of the files, which isn't an SSD drive. It's like a regular hard drive. Well, I can highly recommend these pouches. They're pretty nice. I have a link to all of the stuff in the description. So with the computer out of the way, I have the PGYTech CreateMate card reader case, and this is where I store all of my SD cards. It can fit 3 regular SDs, a bunch of micro SD cards, and also the CF Express Type A, which I only have one inside of this camera right here. And what's really nice about it is that you have like a built-in cable, USB-C cable, so it works as not only like a case storing the stuff, you can also plug it into the computer and read all of the cards. I think it's a very nice rugged little thing. So I have it in here. And then I have the Tri-Charge from my friend Peter Lindgren together with Jupio. So you can store 3 batteries right here, but you also charge all of the batteries if you plug it in through a USB-C right here. And you can also check the battery status. You can store 3 CF Express Type A or 3 regular SD cards. And you can also use this as a power bank if you plug a USB-C cable out of the port right here. Such a nice product. I can highly recommend it. Not that interesting, but I have a size like pouch with some like, yeah, stuff to and some wet wipes for the lens and stuff. So lastly, the microphone that I use to record all of these talking head videos and vlogs and stuff is the ECM B10 from Sony. And what's really nice about it is that it's connected through the hot shoe. So the camera powers the microphone, and you don't have to have a separate audio cable into the camera as well. Like, everything goes through the hot shoe, and it's just very nice, simple. It has a noise reduction filter that I think sounds great, as you can hear right here. It sets the audio levels like automatically, which is probably the biggest thing why I wanted this microphone, because I hate like recording something and then when you're editing you see that, oh, you had the wrong like audio levels, and I hate audio. I just hate it. So I think this is a great thing if you hate audio. So let's talk about tripods. So for the main tripod that I use for, mainly use on my adventures is the Sirui R3213X. And I actually got this tripod from Sirui a couple of years ago for making a review basically, and I've kept it since. I'm very happy with it. Pretty lightweight for like what it is. It's made of carbon fiber. It has the twisting legs thing, which I'm a huge fan of, instead of the clamps. But what's also really nice about this is that you can remove like the center column from this tripod and use a 75mm bowl like I have right here to be able to mount a fluid video head on, which I've done, as you can see. And the video head is also from Sirui. It's the BCH10. I've been starting to use this for basically both photo and video because I'm too lazy to change to a center column with a gimbal head and so on. And if you balance this thing, you can use it very easily, like a gimbal head basically. But what's really nice about it is that when you're filming, you can set like the resistance and you get really smooth pannings with it. And when you're shooting at like 600mm, it's very important to have like as stable as possible, because all of the shakes, as I talked about before, they get magnified. So after I got a video ahead, I can clearly see a difference in my like videos, that they're not as shaky as when I try to film with a gimbal head. If I'd choose, I think for photos, a gimbal head is probably a bit better, but again, I'm lazy, so I'm using this for photos as well, and it works fantastic. A downside with a video head like this, however, is that it's pretty heavy compared to a carbon fiber gimbal head. The setup is kind of heavy because of the video head. And as you can see, I've mounted this thing on right here. I don't know what it's called, but it's from Sirui as well. So I can use like the regular Arca Swiss plate, because the video head itself has some other kind of like mounting system, and I'm not a fan of having to switch things. So I mounted this on to be able to use like all of my plates basically. And on, it's so heavy, but on the backpack, I have my, as I call it, my backup tripod. So I see it as a backup as I live on the countryside. I many times get an like idea for a video, and then I head out, and then my studio is like 20 minutes in another direction. So then it's nice to have a travel tripod with me all of the time. And it's saved me a lot of times. So it's from Sirui as well. Very lightweight, very small. What I do not like about it, however, is this. The center column is always like that. So if I want to get super low for a photo, I get this low, but then it's like 30 centimeters that I can't get rid of. So I have to turn it upside down, the legs like this. Yeah, I've been thinking of changing this out, something else that don't have this annoying center column. It's very lightweight, so that's a very big plus to it. So that's why I've been keeping it. So something that I always carry with me when I'm outside is these binoculars. It's from Optikron. They are 8x32s, so they are pretty like lightweight and small, and that is exactly why I got these, because I want something that I can carry with me without noticing that I have it with me. Because like the binoculars I had before was a very bad pair of binoculars. They were super heavy and not sharp, so it ended up that I didn't bring it. I just like looked through the camera instead for when scouting areas and so on. But I can highly recommend to get a pair of binoculars if you don't have. So much easier to look around for wildlife. So yeah, these are lightweight, works great. They are very, very sharp, which was also something I really wanted to upgrade when I got these. So I'm happy with them. Now we have like all of this stuff that I carry that's not really camera related, but are very good to have when I'm out looking for wildlife. So with the most important thing in human history, I'm not talking about like a life vest or something like that. I'm talking about this, the Jetboil. And that's not what the important thing is. The important thing is this. Very disgusting coffee, but it works. It works when you're out. I would prefer like freshly brewed coffee, but this works. It actually does the job. Yeah, the coffee is what I'm talking about. So I have a gas and I have a Jetboil with right here. I have like a cup in here, and I have, if I want to, I can like press coffee and such. And I tried it out. It's much better than the other one, but it's a hassle of like, how do you get it clean when you're out in the forest, right? So it's much easier to just have boiling water in a cup, pouring that like disgusting coffee in, and it works. So if any of you can recommend something else that's like this simple, like what do you call it, like a frystorkat in Swedish, that doesn't taste bad, please let me know. I'm open to try new things. So yes, Omnicharge Omni 40 Plus. And this thing, it has like 3 USB-C ports, 2 regular USB 3 ports, and it also has a regular 230 volts plug. So I can charge basically anything with it. But it's kind of heavy, so I wouldn't bring this if I'm hiking or something else. And another thing I recently got is the AceBeam L19 flashlight thrower. So this thing is so bright and it goes super far. In the right conditions, when it's dark outside, you can see 1,300 meters with this flashlight. And I got it to, since I moved out to the countryside, I have these large, super large fields outside of my house basically, and I want to like scout to see if I can see something. And I've been using this for looking up the trees when it's dark, when I'm out in the forest, and obviously not at the brightest because that would blind everything you you light it on. But it has like a low power mode that's centered, or what do you call it, it's pretty, the light isn't that wide, so you can reach it really far even with the lowest setting. Pretty nice little thing to have when it's dark outside and you want to scout an area. Extra socks, for obvious reasons, good to have, doesn't take up any space. If you don't have extra socks in your backpack, pack those immediately because someday you will thank yourself. I have this multi-tool from Leatherman, a free P2, really nice little multi-tool with magnets. I've been using this a lot, not only when I'm outside, at home as well, and when I'm out in the garden doing stuff, and such a nice thing. And then I usually always carry this. This is from Tragopan. So it's a very nice little, it's not really a camo like net, but it's pretty nice because you can see through it, but at a distance you don't really see through it at the other direction, or what do you call it? So it's very nice to, when you're out, like throw this over the camera setup to kind of blend in a little bit better, and it doesn't take up any space at all, and it weighs basically nothing. So a very nice thing to have in the backpack to just cover yourself up with sometimes. A very important thing to have with me is this. This is a mosquito net that you put over your head, and this is a lifesaver sometimes because the amount of freaking mosquitoes where I live the last couple of years has been insane. So I keep this in my backpack as well as this. Always have this with me. The scent of it isn't good at all. It smells, and I can imagine like animals picking this up. So it works on when I'm shooting owls and birds and so on. But for mammals, I tend to use the mosquito net and just get bitten to death, basically. So I don't know if this video was any of interest to you. I have no idea. But if you would like to see like what I carry in terms of clothing and stuff like that, let me know in the comments. And if there's any tips you can give like the community of things you have in your camera backpack, write it in the comments. So thanks for sticking around this far into the video. I'll see you in the next video. Have a great one. Bye.